Code of conduct.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I put in extra work that just can't be found. I took the sword out the stone, wasn't a thing. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. God made me punch in accurate numbers. My castle won't crumble. What I tackle will fumble. I've been a leader when they ain't see it, but now my feet is up. According to me, royalty didn't end with King Tut. Crown on my head, clouds is at my legs. Big says sky is the limit. I look down on the ledge. I push the bar like I'm opening a cell. Hands in my cookie jar, you won't come out with a single nail. I need all of mine. The weight of my shoulders won't fit on a scale. What's a king to a giant? Well, Goliath fell. Even if we playin' chess, dog, this king can't be checked. I make all my moves on the board, I invented my steps. I'm a king, the blood of a ruler. I feel like Mansa Musa. Make your squad disappear like landing by the Bermuda. Triangle, look at it from my angle. I'm a king, the closest thing to being one of God's angels. I'm a king. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I put in extra work that just can't be found. I took the sword out the stone, wasn't a thing. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is the Code of Conduct with the King podcast. I am your host, JSpenceTheKing, and I am back on a very special election night. I hope y'all voted today, Buffalo. I swear I hope y'all voted today because it's a big election in Buffalo. It's a major day. We also had a weird, wild, it was a wild, like, I mean, when you're talking about the trade deadline, typically it's crazy. But, this week, it was some wildness that happened that I'm not really sure how I feel about. So I'm going to be honest about it. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. I got two special guests joining me today. I got my guy EJ joining me from the Cold Front Report /PFF. We're going to talk to him tonight, mostly. I'm going to try to pull on his PFF expertise, but then we'll get his opinions on things too. I don't want to box him into PFF. And then I got my sister coming back. All season we were supposed to be doing the King's Tea with T, and T Estelle and I, we just haven't been able to connect with our schedule. So she's back tonight. T will be in here in about 10-15 minutes, and we're going to talk about a little bit of the tea that's going on around the NFL. And then we're going to catch up on the Buffalo Bills victory over the Miami Dolphins because Josh Allen came through and put the smack down. He put the hammer down. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Before I bring EJ in, actually, I'm going to talk about that for a quick second. I got a little bit of flack about my, I always post like the Monday morning thoughts after a victory or a loss, either one. And one of the things that I guess rubs some people wrong is that I still critique the team after a win. We won by 2 scores, but I still kind of sort of had some things to say. And here's the thing. I consider myself to be a true fan, but I also consider myself to be a fan that's not, I'm not biased, and I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, because I love the team so much, I don't see any flaws. I typically try to be somebody who I watch the game. I look at the things that went right. I look at the things that went wrong. And then I try to figure out how the team can get better. I'm not a coach, but I feel like that's what the coaches do every week. When a player doesn't play well, I'm sure the coach pulls them to the side and say, hey, we can't have that same type of performance. Hey, let's watch the film. Let's figure out what we didn't do right or what we have to do differently next time. So that way we can be successful when we run this play or when we face this type of situation in the game. So with that being said, I don't apologize. I'm gonna pull this up real quick and kind of get right into it. But some of the things that I talked about and some of the things that I feel like, as far as observation wise, I don't think that I've really said anything too negative. And actually, the only one on there that really looked negative was number 4. But I'm going to explain some things about it because I really wasn't coming from a negative place when I said it. Shout out to Jamie. I love Jamie. Jamie is the sister of Joe Miller. And she's probably one of the most supportive, if not the most supportive person that's in here. Mom is in here sometimes, too. When Jamie is saying hi, Mom gets to say hi, too. We got my homegirl, Kristen Kimmick, Kate Gunn in the building. Got Daniel in the building. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to everybody who waited for me. I pre-recorded this show, and then at work with everything was going on, I was like, you know what? Now I'm gonna push it back. I got to do this live tonight. I got to do this live tonight. So you didn't get the pre-recorded version. I'm gonna go and delete it. I already loaded it up for the podcast form. I'm gonna take that down. Y'all gonna get this one, but I had to go live today. So what I'm gonna do is, I know we're waiting on my homegirl T. I'm gonna bring my man EJ in, and we're gonna kind of get this thing popping. We're gonna get it going. So like I said, from the Cold Front Report, my man EJ, what's going on, dog?
Spence, what's good, man? Thank you again for having me on your show. It's always an honor and a pleasure.
Oh man, I appreciate it. And it was last minute. I hit you up last minute, and you typically are a busy dude. You got like 15 jobs and stuff. So I appreciate you taking the time out to jump on the conduct with me.
Hey, man, listen, I'm on a grind now. I don't work a regular 9 to 5 no more. So I gotta be on the grind. But when you call, I stop what I'm doing.
Man, it's the same. It's the same. Everybody know, in the Rochester area, you were in Western New York. Now you've relocated to kind of take up a new career path, or maybe not a new career path, but a new step in your career. So why don't you just let everybody know kind of what you're doing and what you got going on?
Yeah, so like I said, I hated my job at Wegmans, and I wanted to actually lean into the career path that I wanted, which is to work in football. So I took a job as a high school football scout out here in the New Jersey area. There's a lot of good football out here. So I'm going to games on Fridays, Saturdays, and just looking at all the good prospects out here. There's a lot of good players out here. I didn't really recognize it. If you know, there's Rutgers. That's really right across, right up the street from most of these kids. So that's the clubs that they really go to. They go to Temple. A lot of the Big East, or used to be the Big East school, but a lot of these Northeast schools they go to. But it's a lot of good football here, and that's what I'm doing, covering them, and I'm bringing. That's why sometimes if you follow me on Twitter, you see me tweeting out a lot of performances, a lot of players, because that's what I do now, for money and as a job. So I'm very grateful to the Lord that He blessed me with this opportunity. So I'm just trying to take advantage of it.
Man, that's major. I'm proud of you, dog. And keep doing what you
Appreciate it, man.
And then everything else that you're doing, just keep being great at it, keep pushing at it. So, but let's get into this game a little bit, man.
Yes, sir.
So the Bills beat the Dolphins, kind of like we all expected. However, it didn't go like we all expected. You know what I mean? Like everybody pretty much, at least in Buffalo, thought this was going to look a lot like it looked week 2. Maybe without I didn't think they were going to whitewash them. I didn't think we were going to completely stop them from scoring, but I didn't think we were going to be tied 3-3 at the half. So at the very just top of this conversation, what were your thoughts just overall about the game and the way it went?
First and foremost, Miami showed you how bad of a team they are. Buffalo gave them every single opportunity to win that game, and they could not take advantage of it at all. But to Buffalo's side, that showed you how great that defense is. Honestly, if I had to say right now which side of the ball was the best, unquestionably, is probably the defense. I would vote the defense, I should say. And you saw it in this game. Like, Tua was doing a lot of short passes, like nothing really deep too much, and they were having issues getting lined up and stuff like that. But Buffalo is showing you that they are now one of the most complete teams, in this game. They can win ugly if they need to. They can win pretty if they need to, as you saw indicative of the 35-0 win in week 2 against Miami. But now you had an ugly game. This was a very, very ugly game. I'm not going to say it was sloppy, but the O-line kind of, wasn't playing up to par. The O-line has been much maligned. So now you see Buffalo being able to win ugly, being able to win tight. And then what I liked the most, and the biggest takeaway that I've taken from this game, is that Buffalo now, as opposed to the Chiefs, who hate having to dink and dunk their way up the field, Buffalo can do that. Saw how many RPOs they ran. Saw how many short passes that was ran to Cole Beasley. Buffalo can play any type of game and win. And that's why they are one of the most complete teams in the NFL.
Well, first of all, I would agree with you. I think that the defense is the best unit, and that's not taking anything away from the offense. Like, the offense is high-powered. You got, obviously, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Like, you got guys on that offense that'll make you say, no, we legit on that side of the ball. But, dude, when you're talking about a defense that's playing the way that they're playing, it's just tough for me to you have to have historic numbers on offense. Like,
right.
you gotta have, I can't even think of the team that I would want to say, but you gotta have like legit historic offense for me to think that it's better than a defense. And that's not, again, it's not a knock on it. It's not a knock on the offense. Josh Allen, to me, he's trending now towards becoming the MVP. He didn't start off the season on the MVP role for me, but he's getting closer to being in that conversation. Who would you, so right now, quick break on that, but if you had to pick right now, give like a top 3 on who you would pick for MVP, who would you go with?
Man, that's tough. But a little nugget: Josh is currently betting favorite on DraftKings Sportsbook to win the MVP right now. So,
He is.
little
He
nugget
is.
for you guys. So, if I had to do my personal top 3 for MVP, I'll go Kyler, Brady, and Stafford. Only reason I can't put Josh in there out of those 3 is just because Josh started the year a tad bit slow. Kyler's
Yeah.
been balling since week 1. This last game against the Packers was his first bad game. This is his first bad game. And then Stafford, he leads the NFL in almost every raw stat category, passing touchdowns, yards, all of that.
Man.
Stafford is playing out of his mind. And then
Stafford.
Brady still, Stafford's he's on it. You see now, if you question how important coaching is in the league, look at what Stafford is doing for the Rams. They do not ask him to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. They ask him to run the offense and make the throws that are there. Maybe 1 or 2 plays he's making off script and out of structure. Other than that, he's executing the offense, getting the ball to Cup, running the ball. The Rams have a great O-line. He really doesn't have to do much. And then on top of that, Sean McVay is a great play caller, and that is why Matthew Stafford is in the MVP conversation. But if I had to pick one today, probably going with Kyler.
Well, let me ask you this, because you already explained why Kyler, even though this last game, you're saying it didn't really hurt him as much as I would have said it hurt him. To me, I had Kyler as the MVP favorite prior to last Thursday. At this point, I'm actually going Lamar. I was shocked that you didn't say Lamar, only because now I know I'm going to get beat up by some people, because some people still feel like he's not a quarterback and he's a running back and all this stupid crap, right? But the thing is, he's doing way more with way less than anybody else in the league right now. I'm with you on Matt Stafford. I said when that trade happened, I'm like, oh, it's about to get ugly for anybody playing against the Rams, because Matt Stafford is the real deal. And now he has a real play caller. He has a real defense. He has real weapons. It's going to be ugly. And so far, I feel like I've been a little prophetic in that way. So I'm going to go ahead and pat myself on the shoulder with that. But in all seriousness, Lamar is balling, man. And, last year, they figured him out. The year before, he can't throw. He's a running back. This year, 3 of his running backs are on IR. He doesn't have a true, I love Hollywood. I think Hollywood is a really good wide receiver. He's not a number 1 wide receiver.
But he's been making plays this year, man. Listen, I know everybody says that, but he's been making plays, man. I don't know what more you can ask of him.
But wait, because I'm not debating that he's not making plays. What I'm saying is, okay, first, he's making plays because the plays are coming to him. There's nobody else for the plays to go to. So I'm not diminishing what he's done. He's catching balls, he's scoring touchdowns for him, but it's not like he's out there. He's the only receiver, and he's not putting up. He's not you would think if you're the only target, he would be putting up Cooper Kupp numbers. He's not.
I mean, but they just got Bateman back, and they got Mark Andrews, who's a top 4 or 5 tight end in the league. Like, they're not devoid of weapons.
They're not devoid of weapons, but at the same time, I don't look at Mark Andrews as a threat for real down the field. I don't. But he's one of those guys.
But he is though.
He's not. Like, and you know what I mean when I say threat down the field. I'm not saying
he's no. I'll give you. He's no Waller or Kelsey or Kittle, but Mark Andrews is a solid tight end.
He's a top 5 tight end in the league. So I'm not taking that part away from him. But I'm saying, as far as receivers, you don't have. He's the number 1 receiver out there, but he's not a true. To me, I don't want to do what Bart Scott did, because Bart Scott to me is a clown. The way he went
off for no reason. I didn't understand where that came from.
Yeah, so I'm not going that far to see or to say that he's not good and he's this and he's that. But one take that he had that I kind of sort of agree with. You take Hollywood Brown off that team and you just pick him up and put him on a different roster. Put him on the Bills roster. Where do you
probably starts? He probably starts as a slot. I'm not saying he doesn't start.
So over Beasley?
Listen, if I got Hollywood running up this over Beasley.
I'm just saying over who? Okay,
over Beasley.
But that still puts him at your third. That still put him at your third option.
Well, how many 3 wide receiver sets Buffalo run? They run a spread system, so that's pretty much a starter.
No, he's a starter. I wouldn't take that away. What I'm talking about, when you're looking on your depth chart and like this guy is the guy. He's not coming in here taking snaps away from Steph. He's not taking snaps away from Sanders. You know what I'm saying? You put him on other teams that you feel like are good playoff teams. He's not taking snaps away from their top guys. He's not. You put him out there in with the Chargers right now. He's not taking snaps away from those top two guys. Now Williams is always injured, so you gotta you gotta look at the reality of the situations. But what I'm saying is he's not a true number one receiver. We got to be honest about that. Okay. I like him.
Right. You're right. He's not an X guy. He's not a guy that's going to go. And that was the issue last year. He had the most times had to see the best corner of each team. So I will agree with you there. But all I'm saying is with what the NFL has trended to with running more 3 wide sets, 4 wide sets, even empty sets, and they're doing it like way more than the average of like 10 years ago, he pretty much would be on the field as much as a Keenan or as much as a Diggs or as much as a Davante Adams. He'd be on the field as much. So I'm like, he would be a starter. He would get as many snaps as those guys. And if I have Hollywood Brown killing in the seams or running in the seams, I'll agree with you on this. He is not a shifty guy. He don't really have the change of direction I would like to see out of a slot receiver like Cole Beasley. But there's not many guys on the face of this earth that's running 4.2. So
yeah, no, and like I said, he's talented. That's why I said I'm not going to go as far as Bart Scott and say anything crazy. I think the kid is talented. But going back to the point that I was making, I just think Lamar, when you look at the receiving core that he has, and then you think about the fact that J.K. Dobbins is on IR, and you think about literally his entire running backs room at the beginning of the season was injured, and the team is still bought. Like, you know, I mean, he has the team in position like he does every year. He's always in the playoffs. He's always in the hunt. And that's where it is. So I have Lamar, and then I have Brady, and then I had Kyler. I think Josh is getting there. So if I think you talk to me in 2-3 weeks, and if Josh is going on the route, you know, this road that he's going, I think Josh will be in the top of that conversation.
Buffalo has the Jacksonville, and then who do they have after Jacksonville?
The Jets.
So he might actually be in the MVP, the top 3
right
after these 2 weeks, because these are 2 bad defenses he's going up against. So you might be right on that.
The Patriots are a good defense. I know they're not a good team, but they're a good defense. And
hey, listen, they just beat the Chargers. That's a solid win, man. I don't care what anyone says. It's a solid win.
It's absolutely a solid win. I don't ever knock the Patriots. I don't ever knock Bill Belichick. I understand that the quarterback is young. He's a rookie, and you expect rookie mistakes. I don't knock that team, man. Like, those guys Bill Belichick is going to get his team prepared to play. We just have to go in and be ourselves. The thing is, if the Buffalo Bills go in there and they just do what their job is to do, they're going to beat them. At least that's how I feel. But real quick, we're going to take a quick pause on that because I got to bring in my sister because it's that time. You know what I mean? Like, I was saying at the top of this that it's time for the King's Tea with T. And now I got my sister in here with us. What is going on? T. Estelle representing that built-in Buffalo network.
I can't hear you. You know what?
I can hear whatever's in your background.
Oh, man.
Right. Hi, T.
Well, while she gets her audio going, then you and I will kind of finish up on this a little bit. So I think, like I said, I think Lamar, if I had a vote, I don't. Obviously, I'm a podcaster. I'm not real media yet. It's coming, but it's not there yet.
I was about to say you'll be there though. You'll be there.
Yeah, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. But when it does, my vote will go to Lamar at the moment, just based on what I've seen his team still able to do.
Yeah, he definitely he's made some strides, man. If I'm looking at his grades, because I wanted to see what he was doing from a clean pocket. He has the 9th highest PFF grade in a clean pocket this year. And there's many guys who are saying that, Lamar can't throw or Lamar not really hitting outside the numbers, man. He's doing all that this year on top of giving you that rushing ability. And then the biggest tidbit is he has the highest, where he did like a couple weeks ago, have the highest average depth of target of any quarterback. So he was throwing the ball 10 yards down the field every single play. So he's pushing it as much as he has, and he's gotten better on that deep ball. If you watch that Chargers game, look at that beautiful throw he threw to Hollywood Brown. Lamar has proved he
looks good in the pocket.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember, Spence. Remember I wasn't on the Lamar train. I was not. I was the one, and I'm going to take my L. I said Baker was better than Lamar at that time. Ooh. I did. No, I'm going to take my L. I said it. I did say it. But
and you know how I am about Baker, like you know how I feel about Baker.
So you must be loving the fact that they not playing great right now, and he's kind of in the crapper right now.
to be honest, I want Baker to perform. I really do. Like, the thing is, I critique guys who I like. You know what I mean? It's like I watch Baker because I like Baker. And it's disappointing to me that he doesn't play up to what I feel that his potential is. Coming out of college, everybody, obviously he went 1 overall, so the potential had to be there. Everybody thought that this guy was the guy. And it's just like, man, like you're wasting. First of all, and I say this so often, so I'll say it again because now I got UNT in here. You give that roster top to bottom from rookie year till now to Josh Allen. You give that roster rookie year top to bottom to Lamar Jackson. And you tell me that you don't think one of those guys are at least in the Super Bowl once, with 2 great running backs, 2 great wide receivers, 1 great and 1 very good tight end, a good offensive line, and a solid defense. You don't think that they make the Super Bowl once?
Here's the thing with that, though. I do not think that Kevin Stefanski is good of a coach as Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier together. I don't think they're that good of a coaching tandem. I don't think Cleveland has that.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. But
and then you have to also, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I agree with you about the coaching, but I'm saying as far as talent wise, when you're looking at when you're just looking at what happens on the field, and I get it, coaching is very, very important.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I look at Baker and he's just missing throws, man. Like people, it kills me that people talk about Odell Beckham Jr. the way they talk about Odell Beckham.
It's tough.
For like the defense alone would have their defense. Miles Garris, come on. He's a beast. That defense alone, you got those 2 running backs back there. It's just insane. That talent, like you said, JSpenceTheKing, that talent around Baker, there's no reason why this guy isn't putting up numbers. He has Odell Beckham, like you said. He has Landry. Like, come on. You have, what's the tight end? What's the tight end name?
Harrison Bryant, Austin Hooper.
And Njoku. Before you can talk about Njoku and all of them. But wait. He has 2 top 10 running backs on his roster.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
We have 2. I'm not gonna diss my team. No, but you know what I'm saying?
Bro. Be nice, bro. These are 2 great backs, bro. Bills have 2 great backs. Go ahead and say it.
The Bills have 2 good backs. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, too, because I want to talk to both of you about this. Because in my Monday thoughts, I talked about how we need to upgrade the guard position. And one of the things matter of fact, we can just transition to it now. One of the things that bothers me about the way the Buffalo Bills offense is built, they still try to force that run. And EJ and T, y'all both know I'm always the one that's like, we need to run the ball. We need to be efficient running the ball. We need to do this, running the ball. I don't want to run the ball like 50,000 times. You know what I mean? But what I want to do is be able to run it for 4 yards on 3rd and 3. I want to be able to run it for 5 yards on 1st and 10 or 4 yards and 10. What happens is our guard positions are subpar play right now. So what happens is if you have a good back and a decent line, you're not going to make it happen. You have to have like a LaShawn McCoy's talent, to kind of overcome the shortcomings on the offensive line. You have to have a Barry Sanders talent. Now, I know that don't happen, but you got to have a Christian McCaffrey talent to get through a subpar offensive line performance. That is what I'm saying. So right now, you give Josh Allen a team with a line like that and 2 top 10 running backs. Come on, dog. You mean to tell me you don't think Josh Allen will have Landry and Odell Beckham back in the Pro Bowl with both those running backs in that offensive line?
Oh, hell yeah.
Josh Allen now, yes, but there's so many parameters around what you're saying, Spence. It's not just.
It's not. No, it's not. When you go back and
on raw talent, he would have been there. Just on raw talent.
On raw talent. Year
first
1.
2 years.
He was throwing to Kelvin Benjamin, man. Fucking Kelvin Benjamin. You throwing to Kelvin Benjamin. You throwing to Zay Jones, man. Like Zay just kind of sort of got good, and he ain't even good yet. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been in the league now for 4 years, and Roberts, and you're throwing to. First of all, Roberts is Roberts even Robert Foster? Is he still in the league?
No, he's not. He's a free agent. No.
So again, like you're throwing to these guys. Baker was throwing to Landry year 1. I have a, and I'll DM it to you. I have a clip of 11 minutes from Josh's rookie year of dropped and I'm not talking about, I get it, Josh was inaccurate, right? I get it. I'm not taking that away from anything. It's a fact. But I have a video of 11 minutes of drops from his rookie drops, my dude. Ain't no way you're going to tell me that if he had Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. and David Njoku and Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, you can't tell me that it's not going to be a whole completely different thing for Josh. He may not have been throwing 70%, but he damn sure won't be throwing for 58.
I agree with you to a certain degree, but here's my thing. So it took time for Josh to mature into the guy that we know and love, the borderline top 5, if not top 5 quarterback in the league right now. Now, we know that Odell Beckham has notoriously been a passionate guy, right? Who's to say that if he had Josh Allen as his quarterback, he would not have been as patient as Buffalo was with Josh coming to the point that he is now? Freddie Kitchens was their quarter. Freddie Kitchens was, huh?
No, you're ignoring what I'm saying. The thing is, Josh, I have 11 minutes of drops. If balls were going to Odell Beckham Jr., he would have no reason to be. Go look at the attempts from Josh Allen to Kelvin Benjamin. Those attempts, Odell Beckham Jr. would have had a good year. That's what I'm saying.
I think, though, the thing about it is that, yeah, we can fantasize about, Josh Allen going to being in the position that Baker Mayfield is in, right? So I guess, EJ, allow it just to happen. Allow that to just be like, if he was there, that team probably would have went to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Although, yeah, it probably different things would have came out or different situations would have happened where he probably wouldn't have had a great season. But I think that if he would have been there, besides coaching, because Kitchens was
exactly. Thank you. Kitchens was terrible, and this is the reason he was. And we all can agree. All three of us in unison can agree that coaching matters, right? We all agree about that.
Yes, absolutely.
And that would matter to Josh's development. That would definitely matter.
You're right.
It does matter, but it does matter. But what I'm saying is, like, coaching matters, but then there's also about on-field ability and performance. And the thing is, I can coach you up as good as day. I can sit here and coach the hell out of it. Like, I can make it work. But then when you get on that field, if Kelvin Benjamin just drops the ball, it don't matter how good of a coach I am. You got to catch the ball.
And then rookie Josh Allen wasn't beating the Steelers. Rookie Josh Allen wasn't beating the Ravens. I mean, those two great defenses that they had in that division that he had to play twice a year.
Not throwing to Kelvin Benjamin, he wasn't. But
no,
if you
but
give that man Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb and Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. and David Njoku and Hooper, I promise you, it would have been a better game than what you're assuming.
But all I'm saying is that they didn't get all those players till last season. That's what I'm saying. If Josh went in the same time Baker went in, the situation would have still been bad.
That's not true. Go back to Baker's rookie year. He didn't have OBJ. You're right. He didn't have Hooper. Yeah. He had Landry. He had Hunt. Not Hunt. He had
Chubb. Nick Chubb.
He had, and then the second year he had Hunt. Like, his second year, bro. Like, his second year, you're
so that
rolling
whole time
out.
He had a great O-line.
No, because Jedrick Wills was drafted 2 years ago. Jedrick Wills was drafted after Baker's first year, so he wouldn't have had Jedrick Wills either.
So one subpar play on the offensive line. The offensive line wasn't trash that whole time. And the defense
and Jack Conklin from the Titans came over too as a free agent. There's a lot of factors around that, bro.
Man, I don't want to hear that, bro. I don't want to hear it, man.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, you got to recognize that the situation wasn't always perfect for Baker. And I will agree with you now. He is playing like trash, but he did, and he's hurt on top of that. I just want to say, ending of last year, he was a highest graded quarterback. He was graded higher than Aaron Rodgers. So he has capabilities, but he's not healthy right now, and he's trying to play through it. So that's also something. The last 4 weeks of the season. The last 4 weeks of the season, he was the highest graded quarterback.
He was the highest graded quarterback the last few weeks of the season, but then he took an L to the backup in Kansas City. Think about that.
Okay. No, I mean, you got that. I mean, there's no excuse for that. He has to get it done, and I'll agree. He has not got it done in big moments. Look at Kansas City week 1. when he had an opportunity to win a game and he threw that interception. So I'll agree with you there. I'm not saying he's better than Josh. I'm just going back to your point.
And also giving going to the running backs when you're trying to win a game. You can't dink and dunk. You have to throw that ball down the field.
I'm sorry, I had a moment there because I know OBJ.
Yes, that was a great conversation.
But they ruining my man. Like he only really got a few years left, and they're wasting him away, man. Like Odell Beckham Jr., you put him on the right team in the slot. Come on, man.
Yeah, bring him to Buffalo.
They were not trying to trade him. So you think they weren't trying to trade him this week today?
I'm sure they got some calls. But they weren't really trying to let that man go.
Right.
So, but wait, because I brought T in because we're supposed to be doing the King's Tea with T, brought to you by Bundled by B. Shout out to my homegirl B. You know what I mean? If everybody don't know B, I need to know B because that's my homegirl and she been doing the thing like she been doing it. So we're gonna talk real quick about some tea around the league. The first thing I want to talk about is more of a jealousy tea. Like, so I'm like, it's not drama, but it's dramatic to me because I'm jealous. How in the hell do the Los Angeles Rams get Von Miller? Like that's first of all.
Because that's because the Broncos are paying more than half his salary, so it's only costing the Rams $2 million to bring him in. That is why they have Von Miller.
But what about us? What about I want Von? You know what I mean?
They did reach out to Von Miller, didn't they? They reached out to Von Miller.
They did. Yeah. We're in the AFC. They weren't going to send us. They weren't going to send him there.
I know.
But Spence, honestly, where he gonna go? Where, like, they already invested in all these rookies and all these young players. Where the snaps at for him? You gonna stunt their growth for him? True. I mean, I would, but I'm just saying, like, you gotta think about it from that perspective.
I put it like this. We're at the door. I feel like this is the best opportunity this team has had to win a Super Bowl. So for me, it's like, I love my rookies and I want y'all to develop. I want y'all to be great long time, but I want a Super Bowl right now. And the thing is, Basham has been inactive a few times anyway, and it's like you have guys that you're not even playing anyway. Look, I'm not saying cut back. I would never say anything like that. But y'all can figure out something to get one of these guys. Trade Vernon Butler, man. Now, I'm going to talk about the Vernon Butler thing because
put him in there. Put a package
I'm going to talk about Vernon Butler because in my morning thoughts, I basically, asked, like, why is Vernon Butler employed? And people took that as if I was, like, really dogging him and coming down on him. I wasn't. I was actually asking a question that has an answer to it. Like, I'm not just going to dog him. So we're going to talk about that. But the real tea that because Von is gone, I was just jealous. I'm sure everybody at this point has heard about Henry Ruggs out in Las Vegas. Real tragic news. He was charged with DUI that resulted in death. So it looks like it looks like his career is over. He's I believe I read somewhere that he's possibly being faced with 20 to 40 years or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. Real quick though, just for a small moment of laughter, because I was talking about Vernon Butler and Bruce Nolan says, I'm really dogging him. No cap. First of all, the fact that Bruce Nolan is saying no cap is just funny to me. I don't know if everybody knows Bruce's personality. The fact that he's saying no cap to me it just has me.
That's hilarious.
But Henry Ruggs, man, that's a very, very sad, tragic story for a few reasons. One, I'm praying for the family of the the person who lost their life, and I just couldn't imagine waking up and hearing that my sister or my brother was killed by a drunk driver, and then to find out that the drunk driver is one of the most famous people in your city at the time, and then now everywhere you go, it's news because your family member was killed by somebody driving drunk who probably plays on your favorite football team. You get what I mean? Like I just couldn't fathom that. So T, real quick, let's talk about that for a second. Give me your thoughts on that. Let me know how you feel and kind of what your thoughts were when you first read the story.
Thoughts and prayers to the family again. I had to go back because TMZ broke it, and sometimes TMZ can do some crazy things. So I just went back and read on it and was just like, they were saying that the NFL have Ubers to any player, no questions asked. I mean, I'm not here to say why didn't you, I mean, certain things, it's just a tragedy, and when you think about it in the big picture, you're like, well, if this was available, people are going to do this anyway. If this was available, why didn't he do that? You know what I mean? But it's just a tragic because this man is 22 years old. He had his whole life in reckless driving. I mean, we don't know the whole story, but it's coming out. So, like you said, 2 to 20 years. That's a long time for someone who is 22 years old who's just starting their life. And he just, I want to say 2017, his best friend died
Hmm.
from an accident, a car accident.
And I believe
So,
he was doing some charity work, basically based off of what happened to his friend. So, I mean,
mhm,
on that end, it's even more tragic.
yep.
And actually, you know what? I want to shout out Sherry in Buffalo. She's a member of Bill's Mafia. She's somebody who we all consider family. She is somebody who is actually going through something very similar. Her father is in the ICU right now because of a drunk driver that happened. Something happened yesterday, I believe, or the day before. I'm praying
Oh,
for you,
God.
Sherry. I'm praying for your father. I'm praying for,
Yes.
and I believe somebody, if I'm not mistaken, somebody was severely injured. So I'm really praying for you, and I hope that things go well. If there's anything that I can do as a friend, if there's anything that I can do to support you, please don't hesitate to reach out. If Sherry's not watching and somebody's friends with Sherry, please let Sherry know that if she needs anything, please to reach out. But yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
tragic story. It's an absolute tragic story. And, just I'm praying for everybody, but
Yes.
we can move on. We can get to the tea of the team now, because I don't want to have this be a sad show. We were having good, fun
Right.
conversation, but that's just tragic, man. It's tragic. So, but let's talk about the Vernon Butler thing, because I got a couple DMs, some a couple of I had two players hit me up, was like, "Oh, so you coming for my guy?"
Oh no.
Right. Here's
Wow.
what here's what I was coming, and this is not me. This is not a cop out. This is not a cop out. Y'all know me. So the thing is, when I asked the question, why is Vernon Butler employed? I asked it from two perspectives. One, the guy is playing horribly. Period. He's playing
Yeah.
horribly. Why is he employed? Right? Upgrade, get rid of him. We got rookies on the team that can play better than him. Get rid of him. But then on the other end, you have to ask it from the other perspective. Why is Vernon Butler employed? Like, what is it that the team values so much that even though he's playing like this, he still has a roster spot and he's still active on game day? And one of the things that I thought about, I went back just over the course of the time that Sean McDermott has been in Buffalo. And one of the things that I noticed with him consistently is that he values the experience of knowing people in situations,
Hmm.
regardless of the play. He values Vernon Butler's ability to lead, and he values his ability to listen. He's very coachable, even though he doesn't perform the way we want to see him perform. So my whole take and my whole point was going to be, hey, we gotta really, we got to kind of look at this from the coach's perspective. Yeah, he's missing some things, but we still have the number one defense in the league. How mad can we really be? Right. That's where I was going to go. But now, since a couple people hit me up on a DM on that thing, I'm going to go ahead and say, yo, this dude need to go ahead and get cut. Let's get this kid out of here, man. Like, he's not playing good. No, because this is how I feel. Like, I feel like a lot of times, we try to take it for our guys because we love them. You know what I mean? Like, I love Josh. So the first year, second year when he wasn't playing well, I would take up for him, even though I know he wasn't playing good.
Right.
That's not what this is. Like, at this point, look, I got to be honest. There are people who listen to this show who come to me for, whatever opinions, and they
Mhm.
come and they want to find out about whatever news. The fact is, Vernon Butler isn't playing good. The fact is,
Yeah.
when you look at the fact that the Buffalo Bills defense is ranked number one, it has nothing to do with Vernon Butler being on this damn team. Has nothing to, he did not contribute to them being number one at all. If anything, I would say he contributed to our points going down from, like they went down a couple points. So, I'm going based on that. We'll start with T, and then we'll swing over to EJ. T, how do you feel about Vernon Butler's place on this team? How do you feel that his performance is, and what would what's your outlook on it?
Vernon Butler should have been gone beginning of the preseason of this year. Like, I mean, I don't know. He's not is he a cash? Is he a hit to the cap?
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
he
And I
is.
think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they restructured his contract, and he's actually
Yeah, that's
like, I
how
feel
he was
like
able
now
to
if
stay.
yeah, because if they cut him now, the dead cap is like is more. So go ahead, my bad.
right. And that's probably one of the reasons why he's here. And also, too, he's Sean McDermott's guy from Carolina. So, like you said, Sean, he loves to keep his guys. You know, he knows them. He loves good men. He loves the personality of good men. So he's gonna keep. I don't know why he's just gonna keep. He's gonna keep his guys. I don't think he plays well at all. I don't even think why. I don't even think why he's always. He's not a healthy scratch. I just don't understand it. Even the last, not this game, but the last game against, who did we lose? Tennessee. He played, right? He wasn't a healthy. He didn't
He didn't
play.
play. He didn't play in that game. He's only
Okay.
played in 4 games this year.
I need him gone. I needed him gone. Like the beginning of this season, I needed him gone. But they restructured his contract, and I'm like, come on. There's other people out here that can. I know there's Basham. I know there's other people on that line that can play. So
Where you at with it, EJ?
He's out.
So I'm gonna go from 2 sides. So number one, I was looking at his stat line, and I'm trying to figure out, where is his impact being made. So first of all, since 2019, his PFF defensive grade has gone down every single year. So in 19, he was in Carolina, it was a 59.0. To currently, as we sit today, it's a 44.6. He's only played in 4 games this year, right? In 4 games, he has 1 tackle, but he has more penalties than tackles. So and somebody just put it in the comments. It gotta be because he's a McDermott guy that he's still on this roster. It has to be, because it's definitely not because of how he's playing, especially if you've only played in 4 games. And we're talking about him like, why? Like, you're asking the question, why is he employed? He's only played in 4 games. Like, that makes no sense to me. But I'm gonna go on the other spectrum, and I'm gonna use a player that I've watched very extensively on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His name is William Golston. William Golston is a player who really does not get a lot of stats, but he is a solid run defender. And he plugs gaps. He lets Devin White and Levante David eat. So I bring that to Vernon Butler. He may provide, now I can't quantify it because I haven't actually watched him specifically on tape, but he may provide that same type of level of play for Matt Milano and for Tremaine Edmonds.
Let me cut you real quick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel rude tonight. I've been cutting you off a lot. I'm sorry.
It's good. It's good. That's all.
You're talking about Star Lotulelei, okay? You're not talking about Vernon Butler. That's what Star does. Vernon Butler, he be out there. Like, I'm telling you, man. When you go back and you watch the plays that Vernon is in there, you're gonna be like, "Oh damn, man! Like, why did I even come with that take?" Like, I know, I get where you coming from, and I agree. If that's what he was providing, if it wasn't necessarily statistics that you can, because I've always been a Star. I've been, EJ. Like, I've been talking about Star all the time. And last season when he was out, some Bills fans was like, "Oh, Star's gone good. He makes too much." And I'm like, oh, y'all need to apologize to that man. All season, almost every single week, I keep telling people, y'all need to apologize to that man Star. That's not Vernon Butler, my dude. It's just not.
Ed Oliver is playing out of his mind because Star's back.
No question about it. And to a little nugget for both of you guys about Star Lotulelei, this year, Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds are 6th and 7th among linebackers in run defense grade.
Wow.
So I mean, his presence is definitely being felt.
You ain't got to tell me about my dog Tremaine. You know what I mean? Like, I already know the dude gonna catch bodies this year. You feel what I'm saying?
But when we get to that part, we'll talk about everything else though. But he is playing great in run defense. But we'll talk about everything else.
We could talk about everything else, and you could throw some shade. It's okay. My dog.
No shade. All facts. I never throw shade. It's all facts.
Oh boy.
With you. No, me and EJ got this thing. So first of all, everybody knows like EJ typically doesn't have the most emotional outlook when it comes to the game, because he watches the film, he looks at the game, and then he speaks truthfully on the game. He doesn't come from a place of being like, okay, I'm a Bills fan and I love so much that I'm gonna overlook the fact that he did this. No, he's watching the film and he's looking at it like it wasn't the Bills. It don't matter who it is. It doesn't matter the name on the jersey. He's looking at the film and he's just going to talk to it. That's cool, right? However, when it comes to my man Tremaine, I ain't hearing it, man. I'm going to be emotional about my dog Tremaine. I don't care. That's my
awesome
boy right
that you
there.
can do that. You can detach yourself from Is the Bills your team, or do you
They're
not
one of
have a
my
team?
they're one of my teams. I'm from Rochester, New York, so inherently they're my team.
Gotcha. All right, that's cool that you can attach yourself from the emotional part of it. Because
But to
I
answer your
do it too.
question, T, and you can gather what you want from this. My dream Super Bowl is the Rams versus Bills. That's my dream Super Bowl.
Yeah.
ooh,
And see,
I
for
would
me,
love that.
I try to do it too, and that's why I think
That would be
I get
awesome.
the little bit of drama that I do get, because I try to be honest about things, and when it's not in favor of what Bills Mafia wants it to be, it's like, oh, Spencer's wilding today, and it's like, no, go back and watch the game that I watched and see it. You know, I still love the guys. Like, I have tough takes. Everybody, you know, if you don't know how much I love Isaiah McKenzie, you haven't listened to the Code of Conduct.
Yeah.
Because what you would see on Twitter is me saying like, yo, he's not doing his thing as far as special teams. And matter of fact, I asked EJ to do you have those with you as far like pulled up as
Yeah.
far as the rankings from PFF?
Yeah, give me. Yes, he's number 6 in kick return grade. Actually, like
Really?
he ain't really ain't been playing as bad as everybody make him out. He had the one muff, and then he had the one fumble you were talking about, Spence. But other than that, he ain't been that bad. And then considering the rest of the league, you have to remember there's no Devin Hester or no
Hmm.
Dante Halls as kick returners anymore or punt returners. So it's like, I mean, compared to his contemporaries, he's doing all right. You know what I mean? Like
But see,
he not.
but this is why I'll question, and so this is not coming from a place that, you know, like me and you take jabs at times for fun.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a jab this time. This isn't that. I'm seriously questioning the way you guys, the formula that PFF has, like how they grade players. Because the thing is, when you say he hasn't been playing as bad as everybody's saying, right? What that means to me is that you're just looking at the times that he actually has caught the ball to return it. There's been several times that he's made bad decisions, and to me, when you're talking about special teams, decision making needs to be ranked a little bit higher.
Quick.
There were times
Hmm.
that you're fair catching the ball when you really have room to run. There's times that you try to run the ball when you should have fair caught that mug. Then there's times that, like I mentioned, I forget exactly which game it was, but he didn't feel that people want to blame it on the win. Whatever, it's a kickoff. You once it goes past 10 yards, it's a live ball. You do not let that thing drop and not field it. You have to field the ball, even if you're going to catch it and just fall. The thing is, you have to catch that ball. So decision making for me is the reason why I say he's not playing well. I always say the moment he gets the ball in his hands, I'm excited because he's such a dynamic player.
Mm.
He's one of the quickest, most dynamic offensive weapons that we have. But when you're talking about the mental aspect of it, and you got to be honest, there's a reason why he was let go in Denver, and it was because of this. He lost his job. Before we signed Andre Roberts previously, they gave him a shot at this. He was benched to get. That's the reason we brought Andre Roberts in, is because punt and kick return was a weakness. So what I'm saying is, it's okay that he hadn't developed into an elite punt and kick returner like some people would have thought. I thought that. I'm like, oh no, go back. When I was on Buffalo Fanatics, I'm gonna find the receipts. I said, I'm like, yo, he's sitting behind Andre Roberts for a couple years. He's gonna learn. He's gonna soak all that up, and then when he gets his shot, he gonna do it. He's not doing it. If you take out, and I'm not taking it out to erase it because it happened, but if you take out that 175-yard kick return from week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, tell me what his stats are. Tell me what his return average is. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you got the one. You can't take it out because it happened. But look at everything else. The law of averages will play out. Towards the end of the season, I'm going to get a whole lot of apologies. That's how I'm seeing it.
So I hear what you're saying, and to be honest with you, I am not the biggest Isaiah McKenzie fan. I really don't mess with Isaiah McKenzie at all, to be quite honest with you. But I ain't gonna argue with what I'm seeing. So he's honestly, in terms of kick returning, he's the second highest graded kick returner. And if you look at yards per attempt for all of the kick returners, of qualified kick returners, the highest is only 28 yards per attempt. He's at 25. So again,
Right.
It's not like the rest of the league is tearing it up. I mean, he's just doing what he's supposed to do. And I know, and you brought up a good point. Decision making matters, but again, if you are not, because we can all agree that Isaiah McKenzie isn't the best kick returner. I mean, if Stevenson was healthy, he'd probably be the kick returner, and we probably would get Isaiah, because I remember Matt Perino was saying that he wished that the Bills would use Isaiah McKenzie more. So he probably would be utilized more on offense if Stevenson was healthy. but he's
And
not.
that's what
This
I
is not
want.
his.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is not his natural position. And for this not being his natural position, and obviously a position he is not as comfortable with, clearly, I mean, he's league average, and I can't ask anything more than that.
And that's the Bills too. The Bills are not gonna go off of him because he's at average of what the league is doing.
Exactly, yeah. So you can't
But
really be
we
that
all
hard on
hold
him,
our breath
Spence.
when he
Yeah,
catches
like
the ball. We all hold
you
our
can't
breath.
be that. You can't be as hard as him as you
can't.
are. He's league average, bro. Like he has one of the highest kick
He's
return
league
averages
average.
in the league.
But this is the argument that everybody keeps making.
And kick
he's
return.
league
I'm speaking
average.
just kick return now,
Right. No,
not
and I'm
punt
with you. I'm
return.
with you. No,
Yeah.
Okay. Separate topic. But he
Right.
is when he catches the ball. What I'm saying is there have been times that when is the last time you remember a team turning the ball over that on a kickoff return that wasn't an onside kick?
On a kickoff, the Chiefs and Bills game when Saran Neal forced that fumble on a kick
I'm not
return.
talking about
That's
a
what he
fumble.
did.
I'm not talking about a fumble. I ain't talking about fumbles. I'm saying I kick you the ball and you don't field it and it ends up a turnover. The last time I remember something, anything like that happening was against the Texans when we almost scored a touchdown because the Texans player didn't make whatever signal. That's the last time I remember anything weird like that happening. It happened to the Buffalo Bills at home in Orchard Park. You let the ball bounce and it's a turnover. That doesn't show up in the stats because he didn't return the ball.
That's mental.
So what I'm saying is when you're talking about these rankings, you have to also rank literally his decision making. That happened. Like it literally happened, but that's not. So when you're talking about the stats, man, he's third or fifth in the league in return. Yeah, he is, but he has these mental mistakes. I love Isaiah. I want him to be on the offense. I'm not saying I want this guy gone. The thing is, again, like I spoke about earlier, I love these guys. And when I was talking about Baker, and I'm like, I really like him. I want him to perform. That's why I'm critical. I watch him a lot. I watch Isaiah every single time Isaiah's on the field. My antennas go up because I love Isaiah that much. Dude, when he's on the offense, teams are scared. So I feel like part of the reason why we're not as successful on third down is because Isaiah McKenzie is no longer being utilized in the offense like he was last season. Isaiah McKenzie, that jet sweep play, all that other stuff that he was doing, Isaiah McKenzie was a damn weapon last year. We're not using him the same way. So we're struggling on that third down. We're struggling in the red zone. Not struggling for real. I mean, we're still one of the best teams, but compared to what we were last year, we're struggling when it comes to that. So I don't know if y'all agree with that. And that's fine if you don't. I'll give y'all a second to kind of respond to that. But I mean, it's just, that's how I see it.
I don't know.
Right. Like it's just like he's like, besides that one play, man, listen, special teams is a small part of the game. The Bills have one of the better special teams. I will say that they have one of the better special teams in the league, and a lot of players on their special teams are noticeable because they make impactful plays. But if we just all being honest, special teams is not really a huge part of the game. It's about offense and defense and how efficient you are in the passing game. So like what Isaiah McKenzie is doing, if he's not being noticed, like you're a fan of him, Spence. Right, exactly. You're a fan of him, Spence. So you're going to watch everything he does. So if he makes one mental error, that's what's going to stick out to you because that's your guy. But in actuality, what the numbers are saying in terms of kick returning, I mean, he's doing his job. And again, like T said, that's pretty much all you can ask from him.
I can ask for him to not turn the ball over. I can ask him. He almost had a punt like Sunday.
Yeah.
So, okay, but we can get off Isaiah because, again, I love Isaiah. And no, I understand, too, because I actually told Bruce and Joe this in our chat. We have a chat, and I told Bruce and Joe, I'm like, I'm going to stop even really talking about special teams because it's coming across like I'm a hater, but I truly love them. I'm passionate about them, and I'm passionate about special teams. So when I talk about it, it's like, why you keep coming down on Isaiah? Because to me, special teams is that important. Y'all know I love special teams. When Andre Roberts was here, I celebrated him every time because to me, special teams is such an important part of the game. And we have, to your point, probably the best special teams coverage unit in the league. We got two of the top three gunners, in my opinion. You know, so I'm not at all in any way hating on the special teams when I said they're no longer a strength. I was only speaking specifically to us missing Corey Bojorquez and Andre Roberts. That was all I was talking about.
Oh, I was just gonna say I think Tyler Bass makes up for all the special teams in terms of being a strength. Like Tyler Bass is a dog at kicker, bro. Like
yeah,
I think honestly, Like I honestly think he can get into Justin Tucker territory. He could get there.
Yeah.
Justin Tucker, who else is a good kicker? Daniel Carlson from the Raiders. Like he could get with those guys with a couple more years.
And
But Tyler
the guy
Bass makes up
from
for everybody.
Atlanta too, right? The guy from Atlanta, the kicker from Atlanta.
Young Wei
Young Wei.
Koo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I always want to
Yep.
call him like I always
But
want to
also
read his name like
to that
Americanized
special
and just
team, to your special team point, though, I mean, I think once you have that on your team, that's a plus for you. So I can get why you love special teams. I could understand that because that's a plus for any team that has a great special team unit. That's a plus.
Well,
So
and then last comment about special teams, and then we can move on. Y'all have some time to go in over. I know it's late in Buffalo. It's almost 10:30. Y'all got some time to kind of go over a little bit. Okay, so the last thing about special teams though is like we've been spoiled in Buffalo like for years now. We've had even before Andre Roberts got there. I know we had a couple years where the kick return wasn't that good, but we've had like we've been spoiled with special teams for a long time in Buffalo. We've been spoiled with the running game a long time in Buffalo. We didn't have a quarterback, but we always had a running game and we had special teams. And then we typically have strong defense. We had a couple years where we had a lapse, but we had good defenses. I think, and this is just me, I'm not a coach, you got to win 2 out of 3 phases to win the football game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some teams are good enough to win all 3 every single week. Some teams are just dominant. This year, I feel like the Bills should have been dominant. Like, and they are. We're 5-2. We do it. So I'm not taking anything away. But I feel like we're supposed to be dominating on special teams, whether we're receiving or kicking. We need to be dominating on defense, like we are. We need to be dominating on offense. To me, that's where I'm coming. Where it's like, okay, yeah, he's statistically he's wherever he is. But we're not dominating and we're not and this is the year that you got to punch people in the mouth, man. So, but we can move on. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk to EJ about, and I absolutely want to get T's perspective on this. But before, actually, we got a comment in here for T. Jamie wants to know, T, because EJ and I spoke about this at the top of the show. But Jamie wants to know who your top 3 picks for MVP would be. I went Lamar, then I went Brady, and then I went Kyler. Where would you go if you had to go for MVP right now?
Great question. I would say Lamar. I do not like Kyler Murray, but I will put him in there.
Man, oh my
gosh! I don't know what
gosh!
it is about him, and he's having a all right season.
Man.
I would say him and Aaron Rodgers.
Yo, shout out to my man Justin. I forget his Twitter handle, but my man Justin actually hit me the other day. We were talking. He's like, man, Kyler Murray's arm talent is overrated, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about?
You're crazy.
And I get that a lot of Bills fans don't like him based off the Kyler Murray or the Murray play.
Hail Murray.
Yeah, I get it, but listen, that kid is.
That's
special.
the only reason I don't like him. But he's a great football player. Listen, Listen, my personal feelings about that play and him, he's a great football player. I could take my feelings out of that and put him up there.
All right. Well, let's get to the thing then, because one thing I want, and we can end the show off on this. I didn't get to talk about everything like I wanted to, but look, I'm at the point where is Jordan Poyer first team All Pro or it's a damn riot. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if Jordan Poyer don't get All Pro recognition at the end of this season, Buffalo needs to make some noise in the most ignorant, the most loud, I'm gonna say ghetto. Like I need every like just the most ignorant way. We need to make as much noise as possible because Jordan Poyer is playing his damn brains out. Like there's Micah Hyde is playing very well too. We have the best safety tandem in the league, but Jordan Poyer specifically, this guy is playing lights out. T, real quick, because I know EJ has some prepared stuff. Talk to me real quick, T, about how you've seen Jordan Poyer's play this year and what you expect for the rest of the season from him.
I had a question on Twitter about two safety. Who was the first team to play two safety high? I guess it was. And we played that way when it came to wasn't it the Kansas City, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we play two safety high? So I had that question on Twitter, like who was the first team? I know we weren't the first team that did it. Was it the Rams?
What do you mean by the first team?
Like the
You
first
mean
team to
against
play,
Kansas?
yes, against Kansas City.
I feel like
Teams
Wasn't
we
been
kind of put the blueprint out there
the
last season, and it
it's the
wasn't
Raiders. The
successful.
Raiders were the first team to play too high. Like, remember in Week 6 last year when they dominated the Kansas City Chiefs? They played
okay.
too high, and Max Crosby and all of them got after Mahomes in that game.
Right,
Remember
right.
they lost that game.
Yes,
So
yes,
they
Mhm.
might
yeah.
have been the very first team who made the blueprint. But
So
you know
nobody
this.
answered that for me, and I was just wondering who it was because after that, listen, after that game, I said Jordan Poyer ain't playing this year. He is not playing. This man is playing so physical, and he's not saying that he's small or whatever, but his frame is not big. But
Mhm.
Jordan Poyer is playing out of his mind, and like you said, if he doesn't get all pro, there's something wrong. And I get that they're a tandem, they're a team, they're twins, they're the Wonder Twin problems, whatever the case may be. I think he's stepping out of the shadow of that and becoming that person. Like, look at me, you know what I mean? So I'm ready for him to step it up and just be that dude. He's that guy. That's my man. That's my man. Jordan Poyer is my man. He's having a great
EJ,
season though.
EJ. So tell me where PFF is with Jordan Poyer. I know I saw a
Yeah,
post
I want to
today
hear that.
that said that he was the highest ranked Bills player over this last weekend. Where are you at, and where's PFF at over the course of the season as far as Jordan Poyer? Like, where does he rank against? I don't know if you have that type of information available, but where does he rank against other
Have it
safeties?
right here.
Okay.
So he is the second highest graded safety in the
Wow.
league right now. This is the thing. So listen up, Bills Mafia. This is why he's getting all the recognition this year. He is the number one safety in PFF coverage grade. So you're saying, what does that mean? Why am I bringing that up? This is why. Jordan Poyer has always been a player that has lined up in the box, on the line, at free safety, strong safety. He's always been a guy that's been all over the field, right? What's the
Mm-hmm.
difference between last year and the years prior to now? To now, he is giving you all this ball production. He's tied for sixth in pass breakups among safeties, and he's second in interceptions.
Mhm.
So he's top 5 in almost all of the ball production categories. And so in terms of PFF grade, when you do, they only grade what you do at the catch point. And so for cornerbacks and safeties, they grade what you do towards the ball. So he's having a lot more plays this year on the ball, at the ball. And that's what I was trying to tell you, Spence, about Trey White. When he gets more ball production, he made a lot of plays on the ball in the Miami game. That's why his PFF grade was so high. So now Jordan Poyer has been doing that all season. And on top of that, he be getting interceptions in key moments. That also raises your PFF grade. So
Yeah.
all of this ball production, plus lining up everywhere on the defensive side. And then on top of that, he getting tackles and special teams. I don't know if y'all noticed, but he had a tackle on kick return on Sunday. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't even notice that.
there's not anything he is not doing in terms of tackling, ball production, interceptions, pass breakups, pressures, sacks. He got everything this
That
year,
man's
He's
all
doing
over
it
the
all.
field.
all
He's
over the
doing it
field. And this
all.
is culminating into him being the highest coverage safety in the NFL and the second highest graded safety overall. The number one is Kevin Byard, who's also having a good year. Also, he had that
Yeah.
game-winning pick against Carson Wentz Sunday too. So these
Oh
two
yeah.
guys, these two guys are playing the best safety. But Jordan Poyer, honestly, is playing the best football of his career. And I don't know if you guys have this off the top of your heads, but maybe somebody in the comments can answer me this. Someone answer me this question: is this a contract year for Jordan Poyer? Does anyone know that? If you know that, comment if you know that. But I just
I
want to
don't
say
know.
he's
I feel
I
like
thought
off the top,
who
I
got an
feel like it's
extension?
next year. Well, I feel like they both got extensions, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel
okay.
no, because his wife kept saying that he should have gotten an extension. So yeah, somebody in the comments is normally
Yeah.
Richard Rush who lets me know when I got
I
questions
could have
like that. So
sworn
Rich,
one of them
if
got an
you,
extension.
Right.
I know
Because
Hyde did. I know Hyde did
yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
But
Usually you look at the NBA and you look at the NFL. When it's a contract year,
They
usually
playing.
dudes be having career years, and Jordan
Yeah.
Poyer is having a
Mhm.
career year right now.
That's very
Yeah.
likely because he's and again, all pro or I'll freaking riot. I'm gonna tell you, Trey Ellis said he
Oh,
still has
wait,
2 years left.
one more stat for y'all, and y'all could use this when y'all talk to y'all people at the water cooler. Jordan Poyer has
Poyer
the
was extended
lowest.
last year.
Last year he was extended. Okay, Jordan Poyer has the lowest NFL passer rating against of all the DBs in the NFL at 15.2. The lowest of all DBs. So that's corners and safeties. But I just want to throw a nugget in here. Him and Micah Hyde both don't have many coverage snaps. So they're being very efficient. Remember, PFF grades on every snap, not just certain plays. They grade every play. And there, I think Micah Hyde was 38th among safeties in coverage snaps. So that's kind of lower. It's only like 45, safeties that's played 50% of the snaps. So that's pretty low. But in those limited snaps that he has, second in the league among safety and interceptions, sixth in pass breakups. I can't ask for no more than that.
Look, Jordan Poyer, first team All Pro, or we riot Buffalo. Okay,
he got
Shout
the resume.
Out to my man Jordan Poyer. And matter of fact, happy belated birthday to his wife. Shout out to Rachel Bush. Her birthday was yesterday, actually. Shout out to her. Look, I need y'all to make some noise, Buffalo. This is one of those things like All Pro. We don't control who gets the All Pro honors. But the thing is, when your guy is playing good like this needs to be a conscious effort to make noise about it. So that way the guys who do make those decisions hear the noise and they pay attention to these guys. Same thing with Steve Tasker. No, we don't get the guy into the Hall of Fame, but those voters, they need to hear from us and they need to know, Steve Tasker belongs in the Hall of Fame. He belongs there. So we need to start making some noise about this stuff. And we need to get my guy, Jordan Poyer, his first team All-Pro. Both of them. It just is what it is. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to get on out of here really soon. There's a couple things I do need to shout out, a couple announcements. Look, if y'all not doing nothing Saturday and y'all in Buffalo, if you're in Western New York, if you're in Rochester, hell, if you're in Syracuse, I don't give a damn. Come through. I need y'all in Buffalo at Resurgence, 55 Chicago Street, downtown Buffalo, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It is the Buffalo Rumblings IPA release. And we're doing a food drive and fundraiser for the Child and Family Services of Buffalo, representing the Haven House. We're trying to just take care of some people for Thanksgiving. The Haven House represents and they support people who are escaping from domestic violence situations. So you absolutely want those kids and people to get good Thanksgiving dinners this year. And this is going to be the beer, though. Let me just tell you, I'm so amped. I'm so amped about this. We got the Buffalo Rumblings beer happening. And I teamed up with Resurgence for this. I spearheaded this project, and it's something that I cannot wait to, just to get into and spend time with everybody in Buffalo over the weekend. Also, tonight is the last night. It's almost, what is it there? It's like 10:37. You got like an hour and 20 minutes. If you have not gotten the Stay Positive, Test Negative shirt that 26 Shirts is putting out right now, it ends tonight. Please go over to 26 Shirts. Cop one of these joints. At the end of every one of my shows, I have this saying, Stay Positive, Test Negative, and go Bills. We're representing the crisis services with this one. The crisis services, they specialize in making sure people who suffer from alcohol dependency or substance abuse get the help that they need. They have a ton of resources for people who are struggling with depression and any types of things like that, mental illness, mental health. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm sorry I had to do all of that. You know what I mean? But I got, I got a couple things. We working out here. We working. So I got to talk about the shirt that we got. We got to talk about the beer. And I want to see everybody because one more thing about this Saturday night. Not only is this being sponsored by Buffalo and Weck, the Market Dominator, and BNMC, but we're going to have a crew come through. Ashley Petty's going to be there. We got Nate Geary is going to be there. We got, who's going to be there? Pat Moran is going to be there. K-Gun, Kristen Kimmick is going to be there. I feel like TSL might make a little special appearance in that joint. We got A-Dubs, Big Dubs, T in the building.
Yes,
we got A-Dubs, Big Dubs. So, so it's going to be a night. It's going to be a great time. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to drink some beer. We're going to have a live show. I'm going to try to get the audience involved as well. I'm going to be doing Time to Shine for Joe. So Joe won't be doing the Time to Shine. And typically, he gets the people involved. So we're going to be doing that. Look, come on out. Come on out.
It's going to be a big show.
EJ. It is. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a real fun time. So, EJ, why don't you let everybody know where they can find your work, what you got coming on or coming up, and then we're going to let T do the same thing, and we're going to get on out of here.
Yeah, man. Most people who's in the comments know that you can find me at eDaniel77. I'm always down to talk, Bills football. I'm trying to be less combative these days, and I'm trying to be more educational and informative, so we all can learn as a community and learn about the game that we all love and specifically learn about the Buffalo Bills.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. But T, before you go, we got a super chat. I low key don't even want to answer this, but it's a super chat, so I got to. Jeff King says, "How do you feel about O.J. Simpson showing up to the game last week while we're speaking on domestic violence?"
Ooh.
This is what I mean. It's a fair question because I'm very critical of people who are involved in any type of situation where it's domestic violence, sexual harassment, any of those things. I'm very critical. Here's what I'll have to say about O.J. O.J. Simpson probably should be in jail somewhere. Okay. The jury said he was not guilty. He was then guilty in a civil case. All I got to say is criminally, he was cleared. I'm not saying that he should still be on the wall. I'm not saying he should be taken down. I know that he got 2,000 yards when it was 14 games in the season. And for that reason, he's one of the best running backs in Buffalo Bills history. I will say that I think it's an absolute tragedy that his ex-wife and her friend Ron Goldman were murdered brutally. Whether he did it or not, I think it's unfair and it's unjust that they haven't even attempted to further find the killer if it's not him. Because if he's not guilty, then who did it, right? I feel like he's guilty. I'm be honest. I feel like everybody who knows anything about OJ and we know anything about the story, I feel like the dude did it. But that's not what this show is about. So I'm not going to go on and go in on about OJ. But I had to answer the question because I got paid to do it. I'm sorry, Jeff. That might not be the answer you wanted, but that's all I got for you. T, let everybody know where they can find your content, what you got going on with Built in Buffalo over there. Shout out to A Rich. Shout out to really, it's a whole crew. Y'all growing.
Yeah, it's a lot of us over there now. I'm T. You can find me at T Estelle, Not Your Average Podcast in the 716. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on the Building Buffalo Network as well. We come out on Thursdays live. We drop on Sundays. But yeah, I got some nuggets I'll be dropping on Mondays and Thursdays. I got it. Who got it? That's my player of the game, and I got my football picks on Thursday. So, check me out. We just it's me and Mike. We're lighthearted, talk junk about football. Not too much X and O's. It's just us chilling, just shooting the shit. Sorry.
No, you good. You good. I got to get Mike on here. You ain't got to apologize. I got to get Mike on here. And actually, I have a show coming up, a new show that I'm going to be premiering soon. I don't know when the dates are going to be, but it's actually going to be a hip hop show, and I would love to get Mike on that. I got a show coming up. It's called The Culture Review. I got a couple people who I respect very much as far as their musical opinions and knowledge. So we're going to be doing that show. It's going to be like a once a month thing because I'm already kind of worn out. But I would love to get Mike to come on there and just chop it up with us and talk about that. But hey, T,
if it's anything like what you had on there for the verses, it's going to be fire. It's going to be
like that. It's gonna be like that. Except we're gonna be talking about everything from new releases to the verses like that. We're gonna talk about classic albums. I really wish I would have started it this month because for me it was a big moment. Obviously, Jay-Z got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I absolutely wanted to talk about that and cover that, but this isn't the right platform for it. But it's gonna come. It's gonna come. So, but yo, thank you both for coming and doing this with me, man. I always appreciate y'all. Sharing your time with me and sharing your time with the audience. Look, we about to get on out of here. Y'all know how I do it over here. It's your boy JSpenceTheKing. Find me Tuesdays like tonight. Find me Wednesdays with your boy Joe Miller, the voice, the buttery smooth voice Joe Miller for the Hump Day Hotline. Find me on Saturdays for the Chop Up with K-Gun, Sterols for the Girls, and my homegirl A-Dub, Big Dubs, okay? And then really find me Saturday in Buffalo because it's going down. It's going down. But love each other, take care of each other, and live in peace. And as always, stay positive, test negative. Go Bills. Y'all got to say
Go
it.
Bills.
Code of conduct.